Foremost, we want to give all praises, all glory, all honor to our Lord and Savior Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakah Kodesh. Double honors to the apostles of GMS, those who rule well. Special salutations to the men, women, and children of the house of David by Yaf Dawadah. The Wadi Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai for giving me the spirit and power to do this video, and Lord willing is edifying. My name is Yalak Mar, I'm part of the Sheep Beret Camp, and salutations to you, Akim of the Sheep Beret Camp. Just getting straight into it. Sirach 44:1, let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. So this lineage, as you know, we're Hebrew Israelites. And this lineage, we come from, is a powerful line. And who I'm going to who the Spirit is going to focus on is Abraham and the notable act. One of the notable acts that Abraham did to leave forth a legacy behind inside of Genesis. He did a great notable act. And where he was, after I'll go into reading it, where he was, or what I've seen to my interpretation, was that he was transparent, which it says allowing light to pass through so that objects behind can be distantly seen. So he allowed that light to pass through it. All right. It says, verse 2, the Lord have wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning. So the Lord actually is who to give credit to, because the Most High worked these great works through these men. Now these men have a posterity, they have an actual lineage. And it is a great measure to fulfill up under these men. And thanks to them, we actually have a promise. We actually have a blessing. We actually have something to look into that we can actually tap into and mirror ourselves. We can measure ourselves. We can be inspired by these men. And as reincarnation, some of us are these men, right? It says, verse 3, such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding, and declaring prophecies. These are the amazing works out by the Most High. Okay. The power that they had, all right, how they bear rule in their kingdom, how they gave counsel by their understanding, and declaring prophecies. Leaders of the people by their counsels and by their knowledge of learning meet for the people. Wise and eloquent are their instructions, such as found out musical tunes and reciting verses and writing. Rich men furnished with ability, living peaceably in their habitations. All these were honored in their generations and with the glory of their times. There be of them that have left a name behind them, that their praises might be reported. And that's the legacy. So how did Abraham leave behind his legacy? What did he actually do? And we can go to Genesis. And I want to start back. And the Apostle Rama did a beautiful video on this, as appearing Yahushai as Isaac, which was an excellent video. As I was reading, just something else struck me, and I'll start from Genesis. I'll start from the top. Genesis 22:1. And it came to pass after these things that Yahweh did tempt Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham, he said, behold, here am I. So these tests that the Most High may have for us, the Lord have already put the ability in you to do it. We just have to activate it. We have to pray. We have to find out how to get through it. Okay, because you can say, well, this is a man, and the Most High is tempting him. It's unfair. Because this is God. This is God. How could God tempt a man? We're just men. but we're not just men. We're sons of God. So our abilities is being tested for us to activate that Son of God power, that God-like power. Okay, that God-like power that's deep down within us. The way that Jacob got the name of Israel. Okay, the way Abraham became the father of many nations. There's a power that's embedded inside of us that the Most High gave us, and that's faith. That's faith, and that's to believe, and that's to trust in Him. And that's just to go through it. Now, not all are able to do it, and which is understandable because this is you're dealing with the power of the Most High. So it's an elect individuals that will be able to go through this, and just keying in on Abraham, and his test. It says, and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, Behold, here am I. Verse 2, he said, Take now thy son, thy only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. Verse 3, and Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for burnt offering, and rose up and went unto the place of which Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua had told him. So, just alone in verse 2, where he tells him to actually take now thy son, thine only son. So, he's taking something that is not gold, you can get gold. You understand? Wood, you can get wood. Woman, you get another woman. Right? But that son, he's that only son now. Abraham was of old age. Sarah was of old age. And Isaac was the one whom was chosen that the promises will be passed through in the covenant, going back in Genesis 17. So, as a man in the flesh, those thoughts that come to your head is like, damn, well, it's a man in the flesh, right? Yeah, damn, my only son, like, man, why would I want to do that? The questions, the things that the flesh is asking in the mind frame. But that's not to say that came through Abraham's head. Abraham was, man, he trusted in the Most High. And these are the things, these are the abilities, we have to pray for, we have to tap into, okay? Because these are tests that will also rise upon us. So, if he tested Abraham, he tested Jacob, Jacob had to wrestle an angel and go through Esau. I mean, who's to say, we just going to waltz on down? And, we've been going through our battles day in and day out. But there's even more tougher battles, that's set forth for us to go through. So it says in verse 3, and Abraham rose up early in the morning. I just read that out, verse 4. Then on the 3rd day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place far off. And Abraham said unto his young men, Abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship and come again to you. So these guys don't know what the mission is, what Abraham was set forth to do, what his heart was intended to do. Isaac don't know what his Abraham heart was intended to do, but Abraham he knew what he was commanded to do. Okay, it says verse 6, and Abraham took a wood and a burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son, and he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they both of them together, which was a powerful point the apostle made. But I'm going to just keep reading. It says verse 7, and Isaac spake unto Abraham and his father and said, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? So Isaac was being circumspect. He was told, so he knew that a lamb had to be offered, in which the apostle went into is very powerful, that, he was the, Yahushua was the lamb, and, that was said to be done later. But as I'm reading down, Isaac, these are things going through his head. So verse 8, it says, and Abraham said, My son, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together. Verse 9, and they came to the place which Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there, and he laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. So he bound Isaac. Could you imagine? He just told him that, oh, okay, the Most High is going to provide the lamb. And then he just grabbed his son. His son like, whoa, really with a surprised face, could be yelling. Just thinking about that scenario. And then he laid him on an altar upon the wood. And then you could think that Isaac is getting it to his head. Oh, shit, I'm the sacrifice. Verse 10, and Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, seeing that thou hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, from me. So that was the transparency. He was able to see that Abraham would do anything for the Most High. And what I mean by that, he was actually willing to give up something personal. He was actually willing to give up something personal, okay, which was his son, which was his actual son. And see, this act is a powerful act, because as we read on, we're going to see what was the outcome from him doing that act. Verse 13, and Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in the thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. Verse 14, and Abraham called the name of that place, Yahweh Yireh. And it is said to this day, in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. And the angel of the Lord called Abraham out of the heaven the second time and said, By myself have I sworn unto the Lord, for because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thy only son. You see, because he did that. Verse 17, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thee. Thy seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore. And the seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. And in thy seed shall all nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. So what did he receive? He received a legacy. He received a blessing. Okay? Not just for himself, but for generations to come. Off of action, one moment. Okay, one situation that the Most High have already pre-planned and sat down and thought about for him. Not to say that you won't, of course men wouldn't want to be put in a situation, but the truth is that the Most High made us to be put in situations. So we'll always be put in situations that's going to frustrate, situations that are going to seem like, why? But with a spiritual eye and us, learning and gaining more understanding about what we are, who we are, what we're here to do, okay, and then looking at our forefathers and understanding that, okay, the Most High test us, but he's going to give us the ability to get through it. If you're part of the elect and you really truly trust in the Most High. And then he's going to bless you. Because no other man is going to be able to do that. That's why this is a chosen elect. No man is going to go ahead and except for the elect. Except for a chosen amount. Okay? So, it says, verse 19, so Abraham returned to his young men. And then that's mainly the point. That's mainly the point. That's mainly the point. But the Lord has sat back and says in the first verse, and it said he tempted Abraham. Let's look at that word tempt. It says to test, to try, to prove, to tempt, say, to put to the proof or test. So you mean there's situations that's actually created, there's situations that's actually thought out, there's situations that's actually obstacle courses that's made, and those are made for maybe certain men to go through for you personally. Let me get this in First Corinthians, and this is why it's called an elect few. Because not all men will have the mind frame to go through something like that, or the spirit, rather you should say, to be able to go through a situation like that. Okay, and just walk and do, just like go all the way. But we're not talking about all men. We're talking about Abraham. We're talking about the father of faith. We're talking about a special key individual, okay, with the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. We're talking about a forefather of you. Okay, we're talking about something that you are capable of tapping into. This is 1 Corinthians 10 and 13. It says, there have no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. So when it seems like it's tough, when it seems like it's a sticky situation, just know that this is common to man, and not to any man. All right, this is common to an Israelite man. All right, look at the situations Abraham put in, Jacob put in, wrestled against angels, Yahweh Shai. Look, these stories, Samson. These stories, man. These are some they are beautiful stories, but they are common stories of situations that Israelite men go through. So being tempted, being tested, Yahweh Shai, he was led up to be. He was tempted, but by Satan. Job. Those are angels too. Satan's an angel. Job, you tested. You wrestling with angels. You wrestling against the flesh too. So what do we have to tap into? We have to tap into the same things that our forefathers did. Faith. Trusting in the Most High. Shut up, the Most High got this. That's the only thing that's gonna really get you through. That's what got Abraham through it. That his complete trust was inside of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. That he didn't question it. He didn't think twice about it. All right, because once your mind gets the questioning thing, then the spirit of doubt enters in, and then you're not going to go through with the whole process. But Abraham didn't do that. Abraham went forward, and that's what he had to do. And the Most High, what the Most High said, the Most High said no. So that lets you know that the Most High could bring you to the brink of the. Hey, he sits on high. He controls this video game. It says, there have no temptation taken you, but such as common to men. But Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able. So with this faith, we in the end days and prophecies, and these times is speeding on by. Who knows, what we really got left. I mean, now they bringing in the universal basic income. I see a lot of brothers doing videos on that, in which that's a platform to bring in the mark of the beast, in which that's going to be a situation that will be tempted. All right, and then needless to say that you may be tempted for yourself, but it could be for your son, it could be for your wife, for your family, and maybe that's a process you will have to go through. Okay, because then most men will break at those points. A lot of people do things because they do it for what? Their family. They sell drugs, they do it for their family. Women prostitutes sell their bodies to feed their babies. Right, so there's already things people will murder, rob just to feed their family. So there's already things, or just to feed themselves. There's already a list of ways people throw away integrity just over feeding themselves or their family. Okay, now the RFID chip, now it is written not to take it. Okay, but regular people, they're not gonna, it's being normalized now. And then with all these programs and them getting checks, most people are gonna take it. Okay, and it's written at 2/3. Okay, it's going to get cut off. But the ones that's really going to be put to the test is the ones who have been pushing it not to take it, who has an understanding of what that is. And their families, are going to be thriving off of what they're saying. And that's when they'll be tempted to go complaints, the murmurs. Oh, we can't go do it. Well, man, no, we should just do it. No, let's just do it. You know, but what to tap into that faith. You're like Abraham. You're like our forefathers through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And it says, but Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape. So not only with that tempting and all those things going on, the Most High will provide an escape route out of it. So yeah, it's a test for that moment. Don't let that moment destroy your legacy. Let that moment create a legacy. All right? That's what Abraham did. He took that moment and he built a legacy off of it. Don't let a situation that the Most High is already going to give you escape out of, hinder you and actually just break you down to where you just lose it all. And these are messages for myself as what first and foremost, and then those who else it applies to who's in this battle. Because this is the lines that we come up under. This is the stuff that we have prophesied and preached about in the highways and byways. And ultimately, that path that's set before you, the Most High knows, who's going to make it and who's not. If you wanted to make it, then you got to look at what these men did. You got to pray. We got to fast. We got to do to the best of our ability. And when that test actually come, you're going to be able to see which man you are. Are you the man who wasn't transparent, or who wasn't what did the Lord say to Abraham? Are you the man that held back, or are you the man that did not withheld? Right, he said, because thou hast done this thing and has not withheld thy son, thy only son. Are you the man that held back, or are you the man that not withheld? So, just looking at that, man, and Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shabbat, Shemar for this lineage and having great men to actual mirror and look up to. Because this is amazing. That's an amazing task. These are things that, in the so-called black culture, we don't lift up and praise. I mean, we're still lifting up Malcolm X's and Martin Luther King's and, men who did somewhat acts, inside of the society, but that doesn't trump what Abraham did. I mean, even from the book of Genesis, when he first took that journey, and trusted in the Most High and all the whole process that Abraham went through, the transitions, that transition is when the Most High transitioned his name from Abram to Abraham. Jacob's journey, transitioned his name from Jacob to Israel. So you can, your character can grow. You can transition. You don't got to be the same. If you're going to be the same, you're going to, right now we in this mode for training to actually make this change, become a new person, a new man. And Lord willing, we can be part of that family. When you want to sit down and ask Abraham, man, sit down and talk and actually discuss those situations and be like, wow, man, thank you. You gave me so much inspiration to go through this. Same thing with Yahweh Shai, same thing with the elect. I just focus on Abraham because I'm reading his story, but those is great men, man. I can't even man, they great men, man. They great men through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And that's why the spirit I went into Sirach 44:1. This is why this is written, Not that I started, this is why it's written. It says, let us now praise famous men. You can do that. You can actually look at these men. Because people these days find motivation from certain people who they're going to follow and, speakers. These great men give us great motivation on tasks to maneuver with throughout lifetime after lifetime within the spirit and not even in the flesh, within the spirit. And they're like outstanding acts. And when you read them, they actually pump, they shock you because it's like, wow, you know, not shock you to the point like, man, I can't do that. It's like, man, I would want to do that. That's how it should affect you. Not, man, oh man, I can't do that. Nah, that's the wrong way to look at it. It's like, it should be, man, that's beautiful. That's awesome, man. Wow, how can I make these steps like that? Right? So, yeah, like the I Want My did a video. You could desire it. You could desire it. Desire to learn. How to be like our forefathers. Sirach 44:10. It says, jump down to Sirach 44:19. Abraham was a great father of many people. In glory was there none like unto him, who kept the law of the Most High. You see, he kept the law of the Most High, which was what? Which really, you can only keep the law through faith. There was no physical law written that said Abraham, but there's no physical law. The law didn't come to after Abraham. So what is it talking about? What is it really talking about? He kept in faith. He believed in the things the Most High said. There was no law when Abraham was around. You ain't going to find it. All right? Because the laws didn't come until Moses. Moses is connected with the law. So what is Abraham connected with? He's connected with the only law there is faith. The trust and believe in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shah. With all our mind, the Lord said, serve the Lord with all our mind and all our heart. This is referred, and then treat our neighbor as ourselves. These are he said this is the first great commandment, and the next one is like unto it. And was in covenant with him. He established the covenant in the flesh, and when he was proved, he was found faithful. You see that? He established the covenant in the flesh. This is the flesh. This is the lineage that the Most High is going to keep. He left that legacy down. That's why the circumcision was. That means you're part of that legacy. And when he was proved, he was found faithful. When he was tried, the Lord, he was found what? He was found faithful. That he trusted in anything the Most High said. Abraham, I want you to, and that's how you see the things that the prophets did. Ezekiel, how he prophesied on one side and, ate with cow's dung. And, Isaiah had to prophesy naked. Man, these stories show you that these men actually trusted in the Lord. They were, the Spirit was upon them. The Spirit was upon them, to do the task that the Most High set forth for them to do. That, people in the flesh it's not comprehensible for anybody to do those things. But then again, we're not talking about men in the flesh. It says, verse 21. Therefore he assured him by oath that he would bless the nations in his seed. That's what we read. He assured him by an oath. I mean, man, you're making an oath not with a man. You're making an oath with God. God is making a promise with you. This ain't a regular. This ain't nobody regular. This is God. The scripture says, who is man that Most High? That should make you think, who is Abraham? That the Most High will make a promise with him. And with him. And then that he will bless the nations in his seed. So that lineage that you connected with, so you will always be good with. And that he will multiply him as the dust of the earth and exalt his seed as the stars. You will be exalted as the stars, spiritually and actual, physically, when the Most High return. You brothers keep that in mind. You'll be pumped. You know, you say in Second Thessalonians, you'll meet the Lord in the air. You're gonna be exalted as the stars. Right now we on low, because the stars, you think about exalted as the stars. The stars on high. There's something to gaze about. There's something to wonder about. They have a shine to them. You know, right now as a people, we don't have a shine to us. You know, we're not nothing to look upon. You know, there's a subtle shine. Okay, there's the only people I want to look at us for is for rapping and certain, oh man, you could run really fast or you could jump really high, and, shit in the flesh. All right, but in time you're gonna be exalted for more than that. It says, and cause them to inherit from sea to sea and from river unto the uttermost part of the land. That's what was in the deal. That's what was assured by an oath. That's definitely gonna happen. That's definitely gonna happen. So it's already gonna happen. And through Yahweh Bashim Yahushua for putting a beautiful spirit upon our forefather Abraham to actually leave this legacy behind. If he didn't do it, it wouldn't be there. So no, you're not gonna be a nigga for the rest of your life. No, you're not gonna live in the ghettos and slums for the rest of your life. No. Thanks to your forefather Abraham, you ain't gotta worry about that. What are we in right now is a temporary situation. Temporary. The Most High sworn by oath. This ain't a man that he swore to. He's gonna do it. And off of what he did, you're gonna receive that blessing. We'll be put to our own test. Ultimately, regardless of what happens, the Most High is keeping that through Abraham. You know? Even the 2/3, they're gonna be able, just because of what he did. Everything gonna be like they're gonna be living in the projects in the kingdom, or still being looked. Nah, it's gonna be up on high as well. They're gonna be shamefaced. Ultimately not taken away from doing the right thing and standing there, but just showing the magnitude of what Abraham, acknowledging what was left behind through those actions, man. Verse 22, with Isaac did he establish likewise for Abraham his father's sake the blessing of all men. You see? So that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, Isaac did good things, but likewise did he establish for Abraham with Isaac did he establish likewise for Abraham's his father's sake with blessings of all men in a covenant and made it rest upon the head of Jacob. You see? He acknowledged him in his blessing and gave him an inheritance and divided his portions among the 12 tribes that he parted them. So that's it. It's all for what he did. It's going to come back. It's going to get back there. On the Most High's timing. Just acknowledging that with what he did, and Lord willing, this was edifying, and Lord willing, going to more men, that more renowned, great men through the Spirit and power, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, that left behind his legacy and did these great acts. With that being said, to the next time, Shalom.